What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I am George. This is Warp Charge Gaming, and we're live as I talk to you on the internet every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This is episode 112. So I've done this 112 times, and right now I'm talking to myself until James and Chris get on board. But I like to be on time. You know, it's 9 o'clock, a little bit past, so saying what's up. Give a second here to catch you guys online here and have a talk like we do each week about miniature wargaming, the tabletop hobby, if you will. A lot's been going on over the last several weeks with the release of 9th edition Warhammer 40K, and so that has been a mainstay of topics, and I'm sure a lot of what we're going to discuss tonight. Particularly, I just studied over just last night in depth the Crusade missions, the narrative side. We're often talking about competitive 40K on here. With Warp Charge Gaming runs a bunch of events, particularly with our partners at Battlegrounds here in the Midlothian, Virginia area. And we are currently really focused on this tournament league that we put together, where we've had a single elimination qualifier rounds that set up people to play in a finals, and we're looking for 8 unique winners that'll be generated from 8 pods or mini events, and those finalists will go to fight for the main pot. And we have just fired off all 8 pods, and we're into our 9th one being launched. And if we don't get any duplicate winners in the first 8 pods, and there's 8 unique winners, we're going to go straight into the finals. Otherwise, if we do get a duplicate winner, then Pod 9 will come into the Season 1. Otherwise, go right to Season 2. So that's exciting. That's fired off. And there we are. I see me live now, so maybe I'll catch your comments. And that is really cool. A lot of what has been on the channel as of late, heck, even today, I've been playing so many games, it's lose track of what even day I filmed last. And that was just today. In the shop, played a great guy that I hadn't met before named Will, and his son Peter came in, and we played Chaos versus Eldari, so you guys can go check out the channel from the most recent battle today. I was playing Iron Warriors, kind of the dreaded 8th edition list, as they made the Lord of Skulls way too damn cheap, and I was taking advantage of that with 2 Lord of Skulls and a Brass Scorpion, something I really enjoy because I love big, scary monsters. And this particular sauce right now, because of how cheap the Lord of Skulls are, you're able to really buff the hell out of them with the Iron Warriors Demon Smith Warlord trait for exploding 6s, the Master of Possession Infernal Power. That power that came out for the Master of Possession, which was a new sculpt, the Cursed Earth, the Infernal Power is stupid gross. Reroll 1s to hit and wound. You pair that with a Lord Discordant, that makes you a +1 to hit for all your vehicles that are within 6 inches. So you got a 6-inch aura on the disco for +1 to hit. You got a reroll 1s to hit and wound from the Master of Possession Psychic Power. Additionally, you can cast 2 powers, so you cast Cursed Earth, giving it a 4-up invuln, 6-inch aura. And then on top of that, Demon Smith Warlord trait being 6s to hit, exploded to additional attacks. If you slide in a Blood Master as your cheapest HQ for the Demon's Codex, then you can put he's a Khorne Demon at that. Then you can give him the Crimson Crown, the Khorne Relic, that'll make 6s to wound explode into additional attacks. So now, if you put, say, 3 Lord of Skulls with Hades Gatling guns that are Strength 8, -2, 2 damage, 12 shots. That's 12 shots that are Strength 8, -2, 2 damage, nasty weapon. You have now 2s to hit, rerolling to hit and wound, and having exploding attacks on 6s to hit and wound. It's a dumb amount of combos, being 4-up invulns on top of that, and it's so big and blocky, unlike a knight or something that has, you can be able to shoot between its legs and whatnot. You actually have this wall of a model, just like a rhino can block some troops or whatever from line of sight. You can block all your psychers and buff characters behind the giant Lords of Skulls, so snipers and things can't get access to them. So very powerful. And I see a couple of you might be floating out there. Give me a holler and say what's up if you're floating out there. Since I'm riding solo, it's always nice to get confirmation I'm not alone. I really want to talk a little bit about Crusade in this episode. Looking for James and Chris to see if they're going to jump on. I'm not sure if they will. But otherwise, I think we got 8 pods that have fired off, and I'm in all of them. So I've been eliminated several times. and yet I've gone into the final rounds for a couple. So I have a couple opportunities to try to get a finalist position. It's going to be funny if in my own tournament league, where I joined all 8 of the qualifier rounds, if I fail them all. Show what kind of player I am. My community won't give me a chance to play for the final. So I'm this self-acclaimed underdog, even though that's probably not the case. Fighting my way to victory right now. What's up, Mike? You're not the only one. My good buddy. Nice. Good one. My good buddy, Mike Vendusky. Also, I got to give an Iron Man award or something for the most participants, because Mike, you and Hagen are definitely the cats that are rocking it. Sorry, I had a guest come over. Looks like James is struggling. So, all right, no big deal. Yeah, thank you, Mike, and Hagen out there particularly. Big shout out also Scott Hutchings with the Black Carapace Studios. Amazing painter. He's been in a bunch of the pods, and also has played on the channel. He had an AdMech army that was really kick-ass. We had a great game. That was one of the few times in the pod so far I had ran Chaos. I've been running Space Wolves out of 8 pods, playing like 5 different games so far. I think I've played Chaos twice and Space Wolves 3 times, or in as far as pods go, but I've actually played more than that many battles, because we've gone into round 2 and not round 3 just yet. I'm looking to try to get a victory in a round 3 there. It's single elimination, so you start out with 8 people in a qualifier round, and then those 8 people play each other, and then there's only 4 people, and 2 matches, and then there's only 2 people left for that first and second, first getting the finalists. So it's been a really cool system. And I've been having so much fun. We've been having so much enthusiasm around getting these games on in this kind of organized play fashion, that I'm motivated to do more, but yet something different. I really want to cater to the narrative crowd, people that are just getting into the game, new to the hobby, whatever, and want to have something a little less cutthroat. Single elimination is like, damn, you can only learn once, and then you got to sign up again, kind of thing. It's nice to have a little bit more forgiveness than that. So I'm looking at the plus. Beyond that, I wasn't near as motivated until I studied how cool the Crusade rules are. I feel like I hear music in my headphones. Let me kill this. I turned it way down. Right, we had really chilled. Oh, that was kind of nice. Now I missed the drums in the background, friends. Turn it back on. Anyways, there we go. Sorry, I had a guess. Cool. Whatever. The pods are super cool, and I'm excited to play more, but Crusade, right. So, if you haven't checked out Crusade yet, I've read the core rule books like nearly 5 times now, like diligently, and had not even paid attention to the narrative rules. As a kill team enthusiast, I had read the crap out of those rules. I put from both Kill Team Core, Kill Team Elites, Kill Team Commander, Kill Team Arena, Kill Team Annual. Commander turned out to be just like the fluffy way to play and not really done in match play. And then they had a kind of a Crusader style narrative way to play Kill Team, but when I actually played it through, it was the system they came up with to level up and kind of have a resource management that was meant to deplete per each game. It didn't feel great. As your guys leveled up, they actually started to cost more. So we got James trying to join us. See what's up. James Schaff.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. How are you, dude?
Could be better, but I'm overall good. Good.
Yeah, you look good,
Yeah, feel good.
You make me feel good to see you, whether you're good or not.
You're a skeleton, and I don't know. Think about that.
Glows in the dark too, dude.
No way. Let me see this.
Let me try. Dang, I can't turn off my own light bulb. Here we go. Nah,
I really hope we're live right now. Please be live.
Oh, we're totally live, dude. Welcome to the internet. Yeah.
Dude, they're seeing that you're a skeleton right now, and it's not CGI'd. That's so crazy.
Yeah, episode 112, man. We've been there, done that. Yeah, we're 12 minutes, and funny enough, it's 9:12. We're 12 minutes in.
Dude, Twilight Zone shit. I like it.
Yeah, or 8:12 where you're at, because you're in Antioch, Illinois, and I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
I am. I'm in the Midwest of this crazy country that we call home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we said the other day you're so close to Lake Michigan, you're practically Canadian.
Oh, dude. And I'm so close to Wisconsin, and I'm practically Wisconsin.
Yeah, you guys
Is
are.
that thing?
What's that all about? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, dude, I was just getting into. I was talking about the pods, the many different pods that we've thrown off, and I've said pods so much probably this episode and just in general lately. Pods this,
Dude,
pods that.
you love the word pods.
It's been a big success, buddy.
I love it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of games that have happened very
Hey,
quickly. Yeah, yeah,
these people don't know that, like, you message. We talk throughout the days and stuff, and that message you gave, where you're doing, like, I'm so jealous because, like, right now, as a World Eaters fan and Corn fan, I feel so lackluster in Ninth Edition. It saddens me that, like, even though I take fun really seriously, I have to have more fun to take it like fishing than rolling dice.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
with the incentive of like these in-game moments as your prize support, it can allow someone to like enjoy the blood wherever it falls,
Sure.
regardless of whose side, because
Well,
you're looking for these epic moments.
that's a good caveat, James. That's literally what I was just starting to get into as you came on, is how cool Crusade is and how it's motivated. Like the pods are cool in this competitive play, I've been wanting to instigate and organize more play amongst the community at Battlegrounds. And I wanted to do that using the narrative Crusade side, particularly because it's been requested and because people are new and Ninth Edition is drawing new players and stuff. So I was like, all right, let's play the 500 point, 1,000 point. Let's think of something narrative. And I wasn't super stoked. I was going to kind of just begrudgingly do it. But when I read the Crusade rules, I got really excited because they're actually badass. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's where like I was mentioning right as you were getting on that I've studied the crap out of Kill Team, and I remember trying to play narrative Kill Team based on the rule system they provided, and I was disappointed. And I was like, damn it, GW, you half-assed it. Like, I don't care. And so, like, you could think of something better than what they made, basically. Well, the one they did for this is way more ingenious and has kind of like more interplay and complexity, more depth or whatever, you know? Particularly the ingenious part, I think, is they made it so that as you level up, like often in the Kill Team version, or even in old Kill Team, back before it was its latest, its current edition of these modern times, it was very universal special rule based. And so, like, as you leveled up, you would pick from this chart of universal special rules that everyone had access to, and there wasn't much flavor as far as you and your army kind of thing. But now they've made it so that you start out the Crusade, you come to the Holy War with a equal amount of power level. So you and I would both start with 50 power level, okay? And we're not allowed to pick any warlord traits or any relics. Those are things that we pay.
Ooh.
Those are things we pay for with points that we earn as we play games. Even though you start out with a certain amount that you could then spend on that. So the interesting thing is that the 50 power level is like a Kill Team roster. You're supposed to take every unit, whether it's a unit of 10 this, unit of 30 that, single character or a monster. They're all units that have their own little individual like data card, like a Kill Team card would be. And they all have their power level written onto it. And when you hit the match in the mission, you would muster your forces there out of your power level, and whoever brings less stuff to the table actually gets because you kind of hit the table of like, well, here's what I brought. And as long as you're not over the amount that you're supposed to be over, whoever actually decided to bring less gets more command points, for instance. And then as you play the game, your individual units will level up, and your overall ability to like manipulate your forces or your roster will level up. You'll get what's called requisition points and experience points. And so your units, for instance, one of the ways to get experience points is every 3 kills, every 3 units you take out with a unit, you get 1 experience point. So you mark kills for every unit. You take skulls. And then also every time you win a game, you might get X amount of experience points that you can delegate amongst your different units. So if you wanted to throw all your XP into one unit to try to level it up as fast as you could, then you do that, because there's 4 levels that your units can grow to. They call them battle honors. And every time you reach, and they're not necessarily easy. Like you're talking about, like to get to the top level, you might have to play like 10 games and dedicate quite a bit of resources into this unit to really get to that final level. But I'm cruising over to it now. Every level has, here I thought I saved it. Here we go. Every level has 4 different ways that you could choose to upgrade the unit. And you could do it by, here we go. You could give them battle traits, and there's like different charts for whether if you're a character, if you're a monster, if you're a vehicle, or if you're any other type of unit. Each one has a different chart to be able to upgrade that unit type with a battle trait of your choice. If you wanted to not say give it a battle trait, this battle honor, you could upgrade its weapons. So instead of giving it like this extra skill or ability, you can instead make its weapons better. If you want, or if let's say it was a psyker, instead of making it a better fighter or giving it a new ability, you instead make it an even stronger psyker. That's a way you can level up a unit. Or you can give it a unique artifact outside of what's in your codex. So you level up units, they get better weapons, they get more abilities, they get to be better psychers, and they get special weapons. On top of that, you're going to be earning requisition points that you can then remix your roster or add to it. So as you play more games, your roster will grow in power level if you so decide, because there's different things. There's like a shopping cart of things you can spend your requisition points on. And that can be...
Bro,
go ahead.
Please tell me there's an app for this.
It's not. It's all in the book, and it's not so crazy.
I'm sorry, but it's too much bookkeeping for me.
It's not. It's not so bad. It really isn't. I
Dude,
mean, it's especially. It's just,
like so much that I would have to remember.
No.
Beyond like normal rules.
Oh man,
sorry.
You gotta try a little bit. But especially
if there was an app, if there was some type of automatic bookkeeping, like in a video game, for instance, I would be on board with everything you're saying.
Yeah, it's tabletop wargaming though. It's not so bad. They give you a data card to fill this shit out on, so they already give you.
Okay.
Yeah, you just print it out and write it on there. It's not that bad.
Okay, so they gave you a cheat sheet. I thought I'm gonna have to like write a notepad
to
let everything out, like scratch stuff off. Like,
no, it's the same. It's the same deal. It's the same deal if it's like an ITC. You explain the ITC scoring system to somebody. They're like, "Well, that's way too much." Well, it certainly helps things out for sure. Just like there's going to be a fillable PDF sheet for this kind of shit, but it's not that crazy.
GW dropped the ball by not making an app.
Well, they put out an app, but it's Android only currently. It doesn't even have the Army Builder in it. They suck. Dude, we showed Wikipedia as far as GW. We showed Wikipedia last week. What an amazing resource.
Oh my god, that resource is so clutch.
You take Wikipedia plus Battlescribe, like you're hard pressed for GW to make an app that's better than that that's free. I mean, like those abilities are free, and GW's going to put out an app that costs even more money than the Azir app that's been tried and true for Age of Sigmar. I think it's like it's either $5 or $5.99 a month.
It's $5.99 a month.
The Azir app, the Age of Sigmar app, is only like $2, right? And like,
dude, the fact that it's that much a month when Battlescribe's $2 a year, and you can get the free version if you want it.
Come on, yeah, they're struggling. So, just to finish the topic here, James. I know that
I'm sorry.
I know there's a lot, but you can basically as you gain experience, you can upgrade your units. There's 4 types of battle honors you can upgrade your units by that gave them abilities, weapons, relics, or psychic prowess. And you can go to the shopping cart and buy different requisitional changes to your roster. So, like, let's say, for instance, you got a unit of 30 cultists, right? But you put them in there with the pistols instead of the close combat weapons. And so, over the course of some games, they kill a couple units, right? They gain some XP. But now you're looking to, you want to change it out to the close combat weapons. You got a different strategy. If you wanted to, you can just swap them out. You can just lose the XP, ditch the shooting weapons, and take a 0 XP close combat version. But if you wanted to just change the weapons on your roster, then you could pay requisition points that you earn over the course of matches. So you're able to change the weapon loadouts, the psychic powers. These are things that are locked into your list, that your roster that you made. You may or may not bring a psyker to any given game, but now you will, if you want to change this stuff later, you either have to totally lose all the XP you've gained and put a fresh unit in, or you can do these things. So you can end up taking more warlord traits, and you can buy more relics with these requisition points. So I was mentioning that it's more flavorful towards the armies, because as people begin to upgrade their stuff, they are ending up taking more relics and more warlord traits that are already built around the flavor of that given army, instead of just a chart of universal things, while also having universal upgrades that you can add to your stuff
but
as well.
isn't that how people just build their list anyways?
Well, no, because you're gonna have more. You're gonna have multiple warlords. I mean, there was field commander and things of that nature, but now it's more like you could, over the course of the game, if you wanted to play Hero Hammer, you could buy 3, 4, 5 different warlord traits, name characters. Even if they're not your warlord, they still have their built-in warlord trait active. There's certain caveats. You're gonna have more relics, and then additionally, like let's say that your units die in a game. Then while they upgrade... Ooh, Chris is joining us. Chris!
What's up?
There he is, yeah! Hi, Chris.
I have made it.
Nice, good to see you. I just saw, I was laughing, I just looked down, I saw Mike's comment. Yeah, dude, we're chilling. I'm talking to James about the Crusade rules. He's feeling a little like there's a lot going on here.
Too much going on, bro.
Chris, I know you were excited about Crusade, and had you read the Crusade rules?
How do I stop that? Crazy.
I've gotten some tidbits, honestly, and I mean, when I saw teased, honestly, I really liked so far. It's a lot more. I love the whole narrative style missions where like injuries and like characters getting better carry over from missions to missions. And I mean, even at the early Games Workshop teases, I saw a lot of potential in kind of like small tournaments or RTTs, even, like using them between tournaments. I mean, it wouldn't be that difficult, frankly.
Yeah. So I hadn't read them yet, right? And I just read them in depth last night, and I was blown away. Like, I was honestly, in my mind, I was comparing them to what the Kill Team narrative book had, and I wasn't very impressed with that. And ever since, I was kind of like, all right, GW, fuck you. You don't know what you're doing. Like, it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that cool. You're just trying to. These 3 modes of play are a little bit of smoke up our ass, and match play is all that really matters. Let's be real.
Listen, man. Sometimes people enjoy that feeling.
But they did a great job. Like, enough to make me want to play the Crusade system. Even APOC was like, did you guys trick me into spending money on this APOC box? Is this game good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually kind of agree about that.
Is this good or not? And Blackstone Fortress, I know you had a good time, but I definitely scratched my head a little bit. Like, am I having fun? I had to ask myself that. That was like a more narrative twist to the for me, like playing Apocalypse, playing Blackstone Fortress. You're like, okay, I'm gonna venture into a more narrative style of play here, and I can't say that I've ever felt completely like it was knocked out of the park. My first impression of reading this Crusade rule set is that I was like, wow, this is really worked out, and there's a lot of depth here, and there's a lot of things to get kind of excited about and curious about, like see how it's going to play out, And particularly, I was just telling James about how there's ways that you can level up your units, and then I was telling him about the ways that you get requisition points to change the dynamics of your roster.
Yeah.
Well, in addition, and you just hinted to it, is that when you lose a unit in battle, there's a chance that it takes battle scars. And so after you do an out-of-action roll for every unit that was taken out of action in a game, and if you roll a 1, then you have to either choose to basically lose all your experience or take a battle scar, which could end up making you move less fat. You end up with a smaller move characteristic or less strength. Or you don't see as well, so worse ballistic skill. So pretty neat. That's an unfortunate thing to roll a 1 on the out of action there, but I thought the upgrade system was sweet, and I was describing to James one of the things that kind of first started to get me excited was that the way that the individual flavor exists for each army with its way that it escalates. It's not just a big set of universal rules. You don't, when you hit the table in your roster, you don't put any of your warlord traits or relics into your roster. You have something that you buy with these requisition points. And as you play more games and gain more requisition points, you're able to remix the different things that your leveling up units are taking as far as weapons or psychic powers, and you're able to buy them relics and warlord traits. Even beyond the normal 1 relic, 1 warlord trait. You can start to buy multiple warlord traits, have multiple characters that kind of ascend, But it's fun because you could be choosing to do these different enhancements to your units themselves, like buying warlord traits or buying relics, or you might just choose to grow the size of your army itself. Because you start out with 50 power level in a crusade, and over the course of many battles you grow in power level as far as how big your roster is, and you're supposed to kind of muster your army as you hit the table like you would a kill team force from a kill team roster. Which I thought was cool. And another, once again, GW 9th edition has a lot of pulling from Age of Sigmar Kill Team. I wish I put a little I wish I had more reference in my mind to Necromunda. I bet you that there's probably some mechanics from there.
Same here, but I can tell you up front, Games Workshop used to do like books and supplements that suggested campaigns be done.
Yeah.
And even the terminology of being taken out of action is actually directly pulled from like that's actually even before my time. But I remember the books existing.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, I mean, it's a kill team phrase, Necromunda phase, yeah. But, it's all real exciting. But what's more exciting, and the reason it was all spawned to even care, is that like the tournament league that's been so awesome and so successful, we're in our 9th pod now, and the sick thing is that I didn't think we would be this far until almost by December. I thought it would take us like 3 months to get this far. But people are super enthusiastic and cranking the game. So I'm feeling bad for the folks that are just getting in. They're getting the Indominus box sets, their first bit. Like there's so many folks out there like, I got my 1,000 points, I got my Primaris, and they want a chance to hit the field. And these single elimination tournaments are a little bit more cutthroat. So I'm trying to organize them a fun way to play more narratively, and the Crusade mission setup is perfect for it. So I'm looking to do what I kind of came together with last night and still formulating is, and I'd love your guys' thoughts, is to have a single buy-in that you're buying in for a certain period of play, like let's say 10 weeks, okay? And what we'll do is that I'm going to pair everybody that signs up, instead of doing the pod thing, I pair everybody up, and then as soon as their matches are complete, I'm going to immediately, instead of waiting for everyone's match to complete and go to round 2, I'm going to daily check for scores to come in and repair people immediately, manually, to say, you go play these people that you have not yet played. Instead of a win-loss record, I'm going to make every single person in the event round robin play each other. And by constantly playing always someone different, this is going to allow people to continue to sign up while it's going on. And then the gist is that what the prize support, any type of winning, your win-loss record is going to be more of a bragging rights scenario, both for faction and individuals, and we'll probably have trophies. But like the actual prize support, we're going to dedicate it around the most like rule of cool moments, the most like epic situations. And also like the most unlucky pitfalls. So like we were thinking of funny things like some of the rare things like warlord on warlord action. Like an award for kind of like we were mentioning Adepticon with their team tournament where people go for like the most first strikes or the most behind enemy lines. We want to kind of create that instance of like people are gonna know ahead of time entering the event what type of things are going to be rewarded, and it might be like most perils, or I was liking the one like most dice rolls re-rolled into the same result. Mm-hmm. So most ones into a 1 or a 2 into a 2. Every time that happens, you write it down. Your opponent signs off, like because everyone will know. It'll almost be like a sushi sheet where you're like checking the boxes that you want. You're gonna, or like the War Master sheet that you get from the Nova Trios. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
right? So they'll have their like checklist, and every game they'll be like, all right, here's the different things that are being tracked in this event, and we'll in real time always be showing a leaderboard for these different mechanics that we're rewarding. My favorite one is that I'm kind of building conceptually around the whole concept is that I want community engagement, and I was thinking about having everyone post their best moments into a dedicated server on the Battlegrounds Discord, and we'll have people post their best moments via video, picture, or just text, or a combination of the three to like say, hey, look at this shot where Morty charges this priest, this like Iron Priest charges Mortarion and takes him down or something, and the ones that are the most highly upvoted by the community via emoticons or whatever, both players will win a prize, win prize support. I think that sounds fun as hell. So both players are actively trying to have a badass moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I like the description, almost like the biggest upset moment, if you will. Where like a small character takes out a big one. You could definitely easily do stuff like besides most rerolls to do a reroll, like single most like experience point heavy model in the game. Like at the end of the bracketing.
Totally, like highest level, warlord, whatever. Sure.
Hero of legend or something. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with that.
Yeah, most heroic interventions.
What about last man standing when you have a single model left after the other opponent's been tabled?
Oh, or just like when a unit, like how many, like kind of the lone wolf. You may get the lone wolf award, like whenever there's one guy left. Funny enough, you could actually just make it a campaign rule that anybody can lone wolf. Because it's not that good.
Yeah.
It's one CP
True,
and it's not even that great. Every time I do it, I'm like, why'd I do that?
For this campaign, we have unlocked this Space Wolf stratagem for everybody.
Yep. I saw your lady trying to sneak by in the back, James. Caught her.
Oh, really?
You didn't even notice?
No, I heard it.
She was ninja.
Stealth.
Nice. My wife teaches, does online communication with her work. She's a teacher and all that, and I have to like sneak behind her all the time when she's on her Zoom calls. That's funny.
You got a ninja, bro.
Yeah.
Ninja.
Yep. Like, don't look at me, it's sneak. Anyways, I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be cool. So everybody playing everybody, that sounds fun. That sounds new. Having not just victory be the name of the game, and then they already put in the Crusade packet narrative missions for both the 500,000 point and 2,000 point level. And so I'm trying to figure out how to best, because at 50 power level, I think you're already pretty pigeonholed down into that lower price bracket. You can fit quite a bit in there. You can fit. I mean, like hell, a Brass Scorpion is 32 power level, so that's already over. That's 600 points.
Almost get 2 Brass Scorpions.
You could get 1 Lord of Skull for 500. I'll tell you that. It's fucked up. 2 Discos, you can do that too. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. I think, just like we just started to be like, well, you could do this, you could do that, but it's not, 9th edition is very objective heavy. Even, that's the cool thing about these 500 point missions. I used to not give a shit about a 500 point game or a 1,000 point game, but it's way cooler when you actually have missions that are built around that board game size, including the map being smaller, Speaking of maps, I mentioned. I know it sounded obvious it seemed like it was obvious to you, Chris, but like I got caught being unaware of the battlefield edge situation with the tactical reserves over these last few games, where you can't just come in from your deployment zone within 1 inches of the edge. You have to be from your battlefield edge, which is dictated by the mission. It's not necessarily always the edge that doesn't extend beyond your zone.
I was working on the assumption that's how it was, but I'll be honest with you, I hadn't actually realized it was specifically attached to the mission parameters.
Yeah, like Dawn of War and Hammer and Anvil, it's just like you would expect. Like it's the back edge. But the Search and Destroy and the Vanguard like deployments, they're the long edge. They actually do hit the midfield of the board.
Interesting.
Like Search and Destroy, there's the one far side of the board and one far side of the board, but then there's the long edge of the board that actually extends to the halfway mark. Well, that's the battlefield edge, So you actually
I gotcha.
can go up to the halfway mark in that particular deployment. So it does, with that kind of foresight, mean that you're not always going to strategic reserve based on the mission that you're playing.
That makes sense.
Because, if you're being like me and trying to abuse the strategic reserve rule, because I love coming in closer than 9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, it's when you're averaging a 7 on 2 dice and can get a reroll mechanic, anything less than 9 is beautiful.
Oh, dude, when I thought I was just deployment zone straight up, I was building lists around it, all the way. I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. And it works. I mean, it feels good. I was thinking of pod games. We had a badass game on the channel a couple days ago where I played the Farside Enclaves with the Space Wolves. That was wild, man.
Yeah, I caught part of that. That seemed awesome. The moment I tuned in is when there was a single Riptide making a very, very dramatic stand against an onslaught of encroaching troops. But I mean, it seemed like it was a banger of a game because I could tell even your troops had taken some attrition there.
Oh yeah,
not literal attrition.
I wasn't. Compared to some games, Chris, you've seen it the opposite way. But literally, I made 6. Immediately with the drop potting blood claws, I failed every rerollable charge.
Oof.
So it was 6 rerollable 9-inch charges.
Oof.
Didn't have the litany. That was why. And that was where he got me, is that, once that non-2020 ITC style where, you don't know if you're going first until after you've deployed, I deployed in a way that he caught me, with his Farside Enclave, he caught me off guard with his playstyle. He basically, where I thought he was going to sit back in Fortress, he just went right into my face. He was like, he literally came, he gave me a turn 1 charge on Tau. And I was like, okay. And he even let me charge around, get some out of line of sight charges and shit. I was like, this is super optimum. But dude, he stuck it so hard. And then the Riptides, I'm super excited because they can't fall back and shoot. Well, yeah, they got 3-up invul, and the Riptide, the drones suck all the attacks up. But then on top of that, I'm like, cool, he can't fall back without losing the ability to shoot now because the fly doesn't work the same way.
But he a monster.
But he can just sit there and shoot me in combat. But if I get to tank it, then I get to punch him in the face again on his turn,
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, just excitement, And damn, dude, if he didn't stick it out, because he played aggressive style, willing to sacrifice it all for the win, he took all the board control. And that's usually, you never see the Riptides take a stance of board control midfield, I'm grabbing the objectives, come and get me. I was like, what the hell? And so he ended up, he led the game all the way until we went into the 5th turn turnover. At turn 5, I finally matched him at points. It was a tie game turn 5. And he had me beat the whole game. And it literally was, finally, I made an 8-inch charge with some Wolfen, and it sealed the deal. And it was awesome. I was like, son of a bitch. But it was, and the whole game, it looked like I was going to go down from his bold play. And one of the bold, by him attacking me so aggressively, so fast, another 9th edition thing you saw is that I had my 5 Thunderwolf Cav standing next to my priest that had the +2 charge. But he killed 3 of the Thunderwolf Cav, which then now made the guy visible because there was only 2 out of 5. Because if it has to be 3 or more within 3 inches. So now all of a sudden he could see the guy and he popped him. I was like, what the, wasn't expecting all this.
I'm speaking of that, I'm still kind of shocked we don't have this. We were told we were going to have a day 1 FAQ, and the only thing I saw got an FAQ was a few Psychic Awakening books.
Dude, it was dumb.
Yeah.
All they did was change your weapon to blast or whatever. Or what they do? It was the things that were obvious that they had to do. Fly, anything that says fly, erase this sentence. It was basically just the stuff we already knew was the case because of what 9th edition says. And they didn't do anything that actually gives us any fixing the game for stuff that people think are broken, which we're all still waiting for. You can blame COVID maybe. There's no tournaments or anything. We don't have shit to drive. There was so much driven off the tournament schedule, both Adepticon, Nova. Hell, isn't Nova would technically be coming up at the end of this month, right? Into August. Yep, beginning of September. So yeah, right now we'd be just like I'd be super excited for I'd be playing practice games like crazy. But we're like right now we'd be playing nothing but Nova missions. Here I am like only focused on how Ninth Edition missions, which I guess do we even know if like would this be what Ninth Edition missions are? I'm pretty sure, or I'm sorry, Nova missions. Like if we went to Nova this year, would we be playing the Ninth Edition missions? We don't even get to know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure the ITC hasn't changed anything that they got going on, have they? Anybody checked?
Their map size.
I thought I saw some maybe just like a potential comment off Facebook or something where somebody was mentioning that they took away the kill more mechanic. I'm about to pull it up now. That'd be crazy if they did that. That it's basically just like a remix version instead. ITC 40 Warhammer. So yeah, I haven't checked into that.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be weird. So James, you've played some games. You're not feeling the pure corn thing?
Nah, man.
Nah.
It's I don't know.
Do you think there's
Marines like the normal Marines are just so much better?
Oh, they're really
When you
good.
don't have access, when you don't have access to anything Chaos actually has that's good. It's like wow.
So
It's
there's
very lackluster.
you don't think that there's a particular unit that you don't just necessarily own that might sauce things up a little bit, or
I mean, I could throw in a Defiler to still be pure corn, and he'll definitely spice it up.
okay.
No doubt about that. A Defiler is definitely point efficient, and the rules definitely make it work.
That's what
It's
Austin
good
ran
at
against me.
shooting.
Yeah.
It gets the shooting phase. It gets the fight phase. It gets it all.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it's tough, and it benefits from like psychic powers and stuff if you have them.
Yeah, if you watch back a little bit, there's a Space Flip vs. Chaos match where I fought Austin Wingfield, and he played 3 Defilers against me with our 9th edition match. It was tough, man.
Yep, that's exactly what I would put in my list if I wanted to be more competitive. But I think it's a dumb-looking model. It should be Soul Grinders, and I'd be way happier.
Yeah, well, he's doing a badass conversion. He's actually taking the War Dogs or the Armiger Knights or whatever.
Yeah,
And he's using their chassis to go on top of the Soul Grinder legs.
what do you mean?
So it's like you take the War Dog without the legs, and you just put the top of it. It's like carapace and shit, just like on top of a Soul Grinder. Feel me?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm no hobbyist, so I'm not great at envisioning what it's going to look like. But they do great conversions. I'm sure it's going to be badass. But yeah, little War Dog or Armiger Knight on top of a Soul Grinder sounds pretty cool. Sounds cooler than a Defiler, because the Defiler is a dumb looking model.
I might hobby some up. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe that'll make it worthwhile.
Maybe.
Do it.
That's about all I can say.
Well,
It's
I guess that's some of the new news, right? Who knows? Like, because now I was pretty surprised by the Space Marine Codex. So, like, October 2020, we're getting Space Marines and Necrons. Is that like the first ninth drop?
Yeah. So rumor is that in regular Marines are getting two wounds.
What? Come on.
In that book, that's what I heard from old Kevin Leonard.
That'd be weird.
Wouldn't it?
What the fuck's the point of Primaris at that point?
I don't know. It's sexy looking.
You get three wounds. I would be dumb. I wouldn't even understand that change. I would hate GW for that.
Hey man, I don't know. I just telling you what I heard. I don't know. I told you even who I heard it from. I even cited my information.
If they did that, they would. It's like they would have this greater. It would seem like they had this grand scheme. Like there's so many things that are the Space Marine. Wasn't it like the Space Marine equivalent? Like a common. What's the acronym for that when it's Space Marine equivalent?
Okay, so I have no idea.
MEQ?
Yeah. That's like always that old school term or whatever. That would go out the window. Like,
I never even heard of that term.
Yeah, Marine equivalent. Yeah, it's common when just like referencing units versus units, like this versus Space Marine. That's supposed to be like the even platform of stats, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, imagine this. They went a whole edition with it at a different wound characteristic. Now imagine them giving it the same wound characteristic and being like, oh, it's the exact same model, so I guess you don't need these old ones since you bought all these new Primaris. And that's how they squatted them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Phased it out that way. Like, oh, you can still use your old Marines. but like we're really just using Primaris. They're all the same.
Yeah, they just make the points the same. A regular Marine is the same points as a Primaris Marine.
Yeah, Chris, you're on twice.
Yeah, you joined a Grand Chris. Impressive. Oh,
That is impressive.
One's
He's frozen on the other one.
Yeah, one's frozen. I'm gonna remove
Wow.
it. I'm removing the other Chris from the call.
No, dude, keep that Chris around.
He's out of
I
here.
like
I kicked him out, dude. He's out.
This Chris is evil, dude. I like the other Chris better.
Hey,
Which one is the real one?
do that tricky. Do that again, Chris. That was cool. That was entertaining.
Dude, please. I like it.
IML is.
Son of a bitch.
That's not true.
Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra. Very cool.
I'm
very
not
awesome.
super sure what happened there.
Yeah, it was interesting. Okay, well, James, don't be sad.
I'm not sad, dude. I've been getting a lot of fishing in, bro, and I enjoy that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still taking fun seriously. I'm still having fun.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not having fun.
40K is
Texas and Tao.
40K is cool.
40K is cool for everyone else but a corn fan.
Fair. I am going to try
I
to...
feel like how Grey Knights felt in 8th edition, early 8th.
Did you see...
Man, that's bleak.
See that demon list that I posted up? That's not pure... It does have a pure corn patrol, James.
Dude, I have seen some nice like corn additives. I mean, I've seen some saucy lists with corn spiced up in there. Trust me.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah.
I know they exist. I know they dominate. But you know what? Just don't feel like mixing it up anymore.
But let's be real. 3 corn Lord of Skulls with a Bloodmaster is really, and a Crimson Crown is really effective.
Yeah. You know what I don't like about the Crimson Crown?
What?
Is the fact that it's on 6s to wound generates another attack.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest shit.
But when you
Why are you going back a phase?
It is weird. It is not intuitive. But when you pair it with the 6s to hit explode from the Demon Smith Warlord trait from Iron Warriors, it feels pretty awesome. 6 to hit and 6s to wound explode. It's pretty fucking good.
I get how cool that is. I really do get
Hades
how cool that
Gatling cannon, dude.
But I would like to see it do like 2 extra on hits, you know? Like this whole do it on 6s to wound and 6s to hit. It just feels weird. Feels weird.
James doesn't like it when the boat gets rocked with too many weird rules, all right? The Crusade,
Dude,
stupid.
I like simple games. I like chess. I'm going back to chess, bro.
Let's make fun of GW's half-baked app release some more.
Dude, honestly, that's where they dropped the ball the most. I see if they made it more simple for me, because I'm a dum-dum, dude, I would definitely be playing more and getting my ass kicked more. But I gotta make a paper list. Well,
Battlescribe is up to date now. Battlescribe did get updated like a couple days ago. Yeah, so you can make lists now with correct.
Like I can make the list right now.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that's funny for me in regards to what you're just saying is that I actually, the day the 9th edition rules dropped, had a TO that I'm friends with complain to me like, oh, the app release is botched, like Battlescribe still hasn't updated, like, do you really have faith Battlescribe's gonna update? I'm like, dude, like 9th edition's been out for like an hour.
Yeah.
Like, give Battlescribe 2 days, and literally an hour like 40, I had the updated files for Battlescribe.
Oh yeah, they had it ready. Like apparently, I had heard they had it ready prior to the release. They literally just wanted to wait until the release date to like crunch all the final details, I guess. But yeah, Battlescribe is crushing it, and the fact, like we were talking earlier, you know, Wikipedia plus Battlescribe, those are such amazing free applications that GW really has their work cut out for them to add value to that $5.99 a month price tag, and they don't give us a lot of faith when they're already like half-assing their release where they don't have the army builder ready. They don't drop it on iOS right away. Is it even on iOS yet? I don't fucking know. I haven't checked.
They put out a timetable. So that's another thing that happened today. Like they put up an update that was like, this is what's happening with the app, and it was literally an article they shared like 2 days ago that was the same exact article.
Oh no.
I was like, interesting choice, GW, but I mean, the app release, you know, if the army builder is better than Battlescribe, I will use it. If it's not, I won't use it. That's really where I feel like in terms of the app.
I think the biggest thing they got going for them that they're going to have to execute well. Oh man, I saw somebody dogging them. I think it might have been Goonhammer. They were dogging the app because it had the rules in it, but the rules were a PDF form of the rules that were literally the exact same thing that's already
It was the Google Drive.
It was the Google Drive thing. Yeah, it was like literally that fucking post trolled the shit out of the app. I think it was Goonhammer. They were so aggravated that the fucking in-app link took you to Google Drive, and that it just looks so unprofessional. And it's just the exact same PDF doc that we have online already. Nothing curated for the app experience. You know, the phone,
Certainly.
the tablet.
Additionally, one update with the app is that they are giving out a month free of the paid version of the app.
Okay, really? Well, that
Yep.
makes that definitely will get me to try it. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
They better
I
come-
don't know if that requires you to put any kind of payment information in or not, but they have said they're giving a month free of the app.
Yeah, because the thing I get most intrigued by or excited or think that it has a chance of good success is the idea of being able to buy a paper book and then turn it digital, or have all your books and FAQs like easily accessible within inside of the app. If they really help you like consolidate a lot of stuff, then it's going to be cool. I just know like the Azir app, which it sounds like it's going to be different, but the Azir app for iOS, you're only able to access, say, your books inside of that app. So it doesn't give you the same experience as, say, iBooks does if you use like a iPhone or a iPad. And it's very annoying. You can't put bookmarks the same way or highlight things the same way, and it doesn't live with all your other stuff. So depending on how niche-y and like forced and clunky they make it will be a factor in how well it's received, I think. Interface is important, man. Got to make it easy.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints, and I definitely argue with people on Facebook. I mean, I do that anyway, but I argue with people on Facebook all the time, no matter, anytime a list building thing gets brought up, it's always, oh, but Battlescribe is full of errors and this. And I'm like, dude, like, you clearly don't use Battlescribe. Like, the most common thing I see with Battlescribe has been the same consistent thing over and over and over again. Is people get wigged out by how to add a second or third detachment.
Yeah.
It's always the same thing because I can always explain them the problem, and then I often get a private message after the fact that I could post screenshots with evidence of people having reached out with me afterwards. Hey, thanks for that.
Yeah. Or like, adding the detachment type. Like, are you Chaos Undivided, or are you like you won't have access to, say, the Khorne Skull Reaver axe on a Demon Prince unless you choose Khorne as your alignment on both the Demon Prince and, say, the actual detachment itself. Yeah, go ahead.
Additionally, there have been a few clunky things with Battlescribe. Like, I know in 8th edition, and I know Mike could back me up on this one of the weird things that I saw, for example, for Necrons, for Warlord traits, is you would expect, like, a drop-down menu, like, for most factions, like, BRB, Big Rulebook, Warlord traits, or whatever. For the Necron ones, you had to click the word Warlord for some reason to get the Warlord trait. There were some really weird UI things like that in Battlescribe.
Yeah. But
come
on. Yeah. I do find it a little annoying sometimes. It used to be not so much a problem, but like I want to view, like you have 6 Warlord traits to choose and you want to see what those Warlord traits are, and you have to like highlight them all individually or like create duplicates of the guys so that you can like view the whole roster, look at them side by side. Or like when you want to compare weapons, you're like, I don't want to open my codex and look at these weapons side by side that way. I just want to look at them in Battlescribe.
Well, and like what you're saying, they have the build your own chapter or build your own hive fleet, whatever rules. And for that, luckily, like you get to pick 2 traits. I know in Battlescribe, you can literally select all of them, like past the limit of 2. So like I'll usually select all of them and then deselect the ones that I don't want.
Yeah.
If I was doing something like that with list building.
Yeah. 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 The it overall is I mean, you can't complain, and really it's pretty amazing how fast they, like when they integrated specialist detachments, RIP, and field commanders, and just those weird little intricacies that were added into the game later. I think they did a good job of like being able to look at that stuff. Or like the Disciples, that like the little non-force organization units, like the Dark Disciples. Or I remember even when they built in the assassination stratagem, and they like added the stratagem ability to your army building stage. Great moves, Battle Scribe. Way more on the cutting edge than what we're seeing from OGW so far, even though they haven't really given us anything. I'm quick to be jaded and naysay, so excuse me.
I will say one thing with Battlescribe that is arguably a concern is that if you know how to modify the files, like if you were submitting a list for a tournament, if you wanted to cheat, it's actually not that hard to fake. Like, you could literally change the points values of your list and make it look like it was legal, even if it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's a bigger danger, but, like, I mean, people are so passionate and driven in this hobby that, like, you know, like, if there's, like, a tournament-winning list, like an LVO, people are going to figure out the list points aren't right real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're going to get on a global stage nowadays with the way the internet is and the popularity of tabletop wargaming and all that, so you could quickly find yourself a meme if you're not careful.
If you've got melt-a-guns that you don't have in your list, people will figure it out.
Yes. Cough, cough. Yeah. Well, we're quickly approaching the 1 hour mark. We've talked about Crusade. We've talked about the cool leagues going on. Talked about wondering what's happening with, what's coming next. Space Marines, Necrons in October. Got a few months coming to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything particularly gunning on your minds. Any games coming up for either of y'all? James is fishing. Chris, you're chilling. You built a Tyranid list though, yeah?
I've built a few.
That one Kevin had was pretty gross, dude. With the fuck, I did not want to fight that, dude. It was triple Hive Guard, triple Exocrine or some shit.
3 Exocrine and 18 Hive Guard.
Not liking
that's a
it.
Nasty list.
I don't like it.
I will say I feel like that list suffers in terms of board control a little bit.
Does real good in killing though.
But it does real good at killing. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you know, like, oh, the opponent has board control and now they're not on that objective.
Yeah, dude, I think the terrain placement is so clutch in that game because if you don't put the objective, well, one, you have fucking Hive Guard, so it doesn't even matter. Disregard my whole statement. Because the problem, it's such an objective score. You know, you mentioned board control and scoring the objectives, but if you can't hold the objectives, you still lose.
Yeah.
You know, and it turns out, like, let's say there's 5 objectives, Chris. If you're on 2 of them, and you shoot them off of everything but 1, you're getting max points.
Mm-hmm.
And because they have to hold on to the objective till the beginning of their next turn, and that's so much firepower that there is very little that's going to just stand on an objective and take it.
Yeah.
And if in most missions, score 1 objective, get 5. Score 2, get 10. Score more than your opponent, get 15. So you sit on 2, you get them on 1, and you got 2 plus more, and you get 15 right there.
And, I mean, I'll tell you, man, like, that list lives and dies. Well, it doesn't live and die, but, like, it's going to smash a lot of lists with the shot cannon Hive Guard. You're going to see those a lot more.
Why is that? Is it blast keyword? Why?
They got blast, first of all. So now the shot cannons are blast. That's the haywire weapon. So normally they're a haywire blast weapon. So normally on 6s, they deal an additional D3 mortals when they wound.
No.
But against vehicle keyword, it's 4s.
Oh, no.
And they can use the stratagem to shoot twice. And if you do them as Jormungandr, there's a Jormungandr specific psychic power that I thought was only for close combat. But you target one of your units and they re-roll all hits for the turn they come in from reserve.
Dude.
So, like, even a Disco Lord, like, I could kill 2 Disco Lords.
Fuck that. You can kill way more than that. Dude, you get way more than that. With 3 units, it practically get 4 units worth of that. Not that you're bringing all of that weapon, but...
Actually, only 1 squad on that list was of that weapon.
Yeah. My main
It's only 24 inches, and it does need line of sight.
Like, my game today was against a Eldar player, and he didn't necessarily... He asked me what I was bringing. I tried to coach him a little bit, but, like, the whole thing I was telling him was, like, look, Gatekeeper army, it's a gear check army. If you don't got big guns, you could end up being overwhelmed. He was able to kill all 3 super heavies, but it was through attrition over time. He couldn't do it fast enough. Your list could literally table me on the 2nd turn.
Feasibly.
You know, with that much output. If depending on how the luck goes and everything, if you roll high enough, they are just D3 damage versus, like, say, big D6ers. But the mortals is the gross part. D3 mortals, yeah.
Well, and they're additional, so it's like, oh, you rolled your save against a D3 damage weapon.
Is that
and you still ate all these mortals.
Is that strength 8 or what?
I think it's strength 7 or 6.
So a little less strong on the strength, but you just on 4s to wound. Even if you don't wound the thing, if you roll,
correct,
you're doing more.
On a 4-up, you're dealing an additional.
Yeah, so that's bypassed because, like, like the Lord of Skull list, they got Cursed Earth for a 4-up invuln. You don't care,
It's like a smite hit.
Right. Yeah, that's gross. That's gross. Mortals in general can turn the tide of a list building. Like my Space Wolf list can wreck people, but the moment it faces a bunch of mortals, it could go down fast.
Yeah.
I think that's underestimated. I think that's underestimated, and it's a quick way to give power to anything in the game. Give it mortals.
And I mean,
yeah.
Granted, their weapon, they got blast. They're not like their optimal target is not things that blast will affect. Like, their optimal target is generally 1 model units.
Right.
But, like, in a pinch, like, oh, it's a 30-man unit. Now I'm firing, 3 shots per shot. That's gross. And, I mean, 6s are going to deal an additional D3 mortals. Like, they can, if need be, chew through a horde a little bit.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Talos or Grotesque. I was like, I wonder if they have the vehicle or monster or vehicle keyword.
Grotesques do not.
They have the monster.
Yeah. Mainly for the sake. They do have monster, though, James? The Grotesque do?
Actually, no, I think it's Talos.
Yeah.
Talos. Sure.
Yeah, that would be gross for Talos. I was mainly thinking of just being able to get that blast plus that mortal if there's any unit that would be, like, especially not. Maybe the Keratin robots by Admech, are those things vehicles that are, because those things are disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know.
That might be a sweet unit. Say those things are toughness 6, that might be a prime thing to shoot.
I do know a friend of mine posted up a really annoying guard list that I think you may see make the circuit with some people that have some Imperial Guard hordes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Horde Guard. Oh, you mentioned this, some 2+ invulnerable or something?
Yeah, so they have you could take 90 conscripts and they can take the regiment because they don't get orders, but they get the regiment bonuses, so they count as in cover as long as they don't advance or charge. And there's a psychic power that I think it's an Inquisitor can take. It's like something of protection. Basically, you end up with conscripts that have a 2-up armor save for counting as in cover and a 4-up invulnerable save.
Wow.
And it's 90 of them. So it's like, oh, wow, yeah, these aggressors can put out like 30 or 21 shots per model with my blast keyword. Well, guess what? You'll hit with them, and then I'm just going to take half of those.
Dude,
and
that's actually really gross. Is that what are they, like 5 points a pop or 6 points a pop now?
5 points a pop.
So are they 1 point? Because I think cultists are 6.
Cultists are the most expensive horde model right now, I think.
Damn, 5 points for 4-up invulns, 2-up armor? That's stupid.
That's really powerful. It's going to be, I think, the kind of thing you're going to see. If it becomes prolific, I think it'll get fixed, of course, but, like a lot of armies with a lot of firepower will not be able to kill enough.
Yeah. Does that, you're like, geez, they're cool. Just take the fucking guys with the hammers and then put that in your, just like 90 of those dudes, sit on everything and then hammer everybody with your abominants or whatever.
Yeah. I mean.
That's a thing. That's just good. I mean, insert that anywhere, and that's like that's so cheap. So like 90 dudes is only they're 5 points a pop. So
5 times 30 is going to be 150 per squad. So yeah, 450.
Jesus, that's so cheap for such a powerful thing that could just win games.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Inquisitor is like sub 200 points. So I mean, 450 plus, let's say another 150, 600 of your points is board control.
Well,
you still have 1,400.
And because the secondaries are super hard, and if the Inquisitor can cast more than one power and you don't care about the other one, just give him fucking some sort of, because I'm always wanting to take the psychic secondaries just because it like opens another category to pick from. Mm-hmm. But I never have a psyker that I want to, like, I'm using every power in every cast. Like, I don't have an extra cast,
Yeah.
And so far in my list. But they're not exactly super easy because, like, a lot of them are, like, One of them, for instance, that I was like, damn, that's not impossible, or in some lists it'd be pretty easy, is cast a psychic power 3 times in a game within 6 inches of the center, get 15 points. That's all you got to do. You have 5 turns, and 3 of them cast the missions, the secondary power, 3 times in the game. It's not that bad, right? 15 points. But if you go second and like they're a heavy board control army, you may never get there, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or they could snipe them away. Now you lost that secondary potential. Secondaries are fucking hard, dude. I can't wait for you to play some more Night to just be like, what do I do? What do I take? It's hard.
I mean, luckily, I would say almost all of my list, I tend to have quite a few Psychers. So, I mean, I could see myself relying pretty heavily on that Psychic category.
Yeah, the action ones, too, I'm starting to be more hip to them. They're pretty cool. Like, one of them, but you really have to choose. Like, I'm constantly wanting to have my infantry characters be the ones that do the actions, but they lose their auras at that point, and so you can't do them, you know?
Yeah.
I found my super heavy list, or like a Knight army, for instance, they might start to find it really hard to pick secondaries. It's actually pretty fucking easy to pick secondaries against the Knight army, and pretty hard to pick any as the Knight army. So you don't have Psychers, you don't have infantry, so that's 2 categories you're out of right there. And then you're going to suck at engaging all fronts. You're going to suck at getting behind enemy lines because that's 2 units behind enemy lines for just incremental points, you know? They're just not easy. I found my super heavy list today to really struggle to pick secondaries. And I didn't score half of them. It was literally just through the power of pain that I come out on top. Oh, man. But yeah, good stuff, crazy stuff. Secondaries are nuts. 9th edition's crazy. I hope you guys have been enjoying the bat reps for anybody who's tuned in at this point and watching still kind of thing. Yeah, they've been fun. Yeah, we're going to have a new league going on soon or some sort of narrative holy crusade of war.
Pod 9.
Yeah, Pod 9 is launched and in effect. We're just looking for more players. When Pod 8 fired off, man, that was less than 24 hours. We're like, damn. I gotta double check, make sure Pod 9 isn't fired off. So people crazy, man. Try to play them games. You know what I'm saying?
People are itching a game after that pandemic.
We got 4 people in there right now. 4 more people. Pod 9 fires off now. But good times. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You, James, and Chris. I appreciate you guys. And then Mike Van Dussy. I think he was our only commenter tonight, dude.
Wow, we're stuck on.
Yeah, weirdly.
Quick, someone else comment something real quick.
Yeah, Mike's the only one. I swear to God, last week we had it like raging in the chat.
We did have a little bit on Facebook too, but not much.
Oh, maybe I missed something.
Got Joe made a mention. He got a game in with Big Cleat.
Okay, cool. Oh, there's Poxus. All right, bye. Later. Good to see you, Poxus. Got a smiley face. Nice. All right, making me feel better. Yeah, I think my other little heart stop with Chris. All right, the chat's working. Right on. Appreciate you guys. Keep taking fun seriously. We'll see you here next week for 113th episode. Cheers.